Okay, it should be all broadcasters now. And if you want to get us underway, Vicky, please.
Thanks, Lee. Hi, Steve.
Morning.
Can we start with the team news, please, for Aston Villa? How are you looking in terms of the squad?
Well, the good news for everybody is St Maximum's in the squad. He's came through all week, trained well, looks in decent shape, which is important. And there's no doubt at this particular moment in time anyway, that'll give everybody a huge lift, because we know how important he is, especially in the forward area. He's the one player that, you know, we look to have a bit of creativity. And so it's good that he's back. We've still got one or two problems in the centre of defence, especially with Fetty and Kieran Clark. Fabshaw, we hope, will make it. So we're a little bit late in that area. But I think the good news for all Newcastle fans that Alan will take some part.
Yeah, huge to have him back, as you say, for the team and for yourself as well. Just gives you another option in terms of tactics and going forward.
You know, when you're in the bottom half, or even in the top half of the league, you know how important is one player, and certainly Alan over the last 18 months has given everybody a lift. We've certainly missed him. To be out for 2 months with this horrible virus has been tough. But then again, as I said, we've had a few affected by it as well. So anyway, it looks as if he's on the mend. Let's hope he stays well.
And that obviously helps in terms of giving the team a lift. How much have you been needing to lift the team and perhaps yourself after the Arsenal result?
As I said, look, you know, a team like ours is going to miss arguably its most creative player. He's the one that gives us a lot of flair. He's the one that you know, the system was built around on a counter-attack. You need a bit of pace up the top end of the pitch, and he gives you it. So we've certainly missed him, of course, for his creativity. So it's good to see him back, absolutely.
And aside from that, how much have you had to try and, again, restore some of that confidence in the squad this week?
Look, I thought we had improvement against Arsenal in the first half. We got caught in the second just after half-time, which is that getting that balance right of committing too many forward. But it's the way we're trying to go, the way they try and be. So, look, when you're up against it, you need a result. And we know this group of players are capable of getting a result, that's for sure. So we'll look forward to the challenge of it. And when you're tested, and we certainly are at the moment, and then you question then everything, you know, about how they handle it, how people handle it, and how myself handles it too. So, you know, it's been difficult. Let's not beat about the bush. But then again, we're not alone. You know, if Liverpool can't score for 6 hours, who are the champions of the country, then it shows you how hard this league is and what league we're playing in. So, you know, as I said, we're not alone.
Yeah, we heard Jurgen Klopp talking about confidence last night, and he described it as a small flower that somebody has stamped on for them. I thought that was quite an apt description.
Well, elegantly put. I wish I'd have thought that way myself.
And so then, I know you've spoken about confidence as well and talking about victories, the way to deal with that. Is there anything that you can do on the training pitch to build that confidence as well with the players?
Well, of course, we work every day on the training ground, but the games are coming thick and fast. So it's for us, it's been recovery. We've made so many changes, and I think that's been levelled at us. We've had so many changes, but look, we've had some serious problems with illness and injuries, and we've just been, you know, of course, that's your core is the training ground. Of course it is. But when the games are Tuesday, Saturday, they have been for the last 5-6 weeks, you're doing a lot of recovery sessions. And as I said, we've made huge changes, too many changes. But it's been with the problems that we've had.
And on Aston Villa, very much a chalk and cheese season for them this season and last season.
Well, I mean, you know, they've made a huge investment in the club in the last 2 years in particular. You know, but even then, last season they stayed up by the last game. I think it was the last game of the season. But they've had a huge turnover of players. They've bought very, very well. They've invested a huge amount of money. And I mean, in 2 years, I think the only player who probably played tomorrow in 2 years is Grealish, who the new owners, when I was there, did their utmost to make sure that they weren't going to lose their crown jewel. And Jack has flourished.
Is it an extra edge for you facing your former club?
I've had that many former clubs, so you always wanted to go and make sure you get a good result. But look, I had a couple of decent years there, so I'll look forward to the challenge of trying to beat them.
Thank you, Steve. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vicky. Alistair McGowan, BBC Sport.
Hi, Steve.
Alistair?
I found it quite interesting last week when you were channeling your inner, I've forgotten the guy's name now, but when you were talking about My Way, I just wondered, you wanted to...
You're not talking about Elvis sang My Way, or Frank Sinatra My Way.
Frank Sinatra, that's it. Sorry.
Even Donald Trump the other day left with My Way.
Yeah, sorry, I just went completely blank there. Frank Sinatra, that's who I was talking about. You're channeling you in Frank Sinatra. You talked about doing it my way. I just wondered whose way you were sort of moving away from.
Whose way were you moving away from? Now, I said my way that we're going to try and have a change of. We've defended deep and played on the counter attack since I've probably been at the club. We've changed in certain games, but we've still defended a bit deep. So what we've done, or what my way is to try and get us 20, 30 yards higher up the pitch. And that's what I meant by my way. You know, we've used two systems really, either a back four or a back three. And I think that's the way we will still going forward. We will play a back three, back five in certain games, and play a back four in others. And that's the way I've always been.
So I just wondered whether it was because of the players. Do the players prefer sort of a back five? Is that what you meant when you said my way? No,
I don't. I think some of them prefer a back four. But my job is to get enough results, and at the moment results. For instance, Tottenham played a back three at Sheffield. They changed the match Sheffield's system, formation, if you went the other day. So I think it's important that we have a couple of formations that we have. But my way, though, is to still see if we can be higher up the pitch than defend in a low block, if you like, because that's the way we've been. And I was reluctant to change because a lot of the players in that respect were used to playing that way. And that's the way they've been. So I haven't really altered that at all. I've left it. And but I made that statement 2 weeks ago, and I'll stick with it.
So do you think you'll stick with the more positive approach against Villa?
Yeah,
then?
Yeah, I think we have to. Look, we still have to have a certain pragmatic way, you know. And last week against Arsenal, for example, we're caught just after half-time trying to put too many bodies forward and leave ourselves exposed. There's that balance that you have to try and get right. But yes, we will try and play a little bit more further up the pitch, and that's what I mean by my way.
And just last of all, when teams are going through a bad run, you often hear, and I'm sure you've done this as a player, a kind of a night out sometimes can sort of relieve the tension and bring people together and give, just take your mind off things. How difficult is it to do that when you can't do that sort of thing in the current climate?
Well, we've often used it. And certainly I have over the last 20 years been involved in it. Have a bit of a bad time. Come on, let's go and have a beer and do a few things over. But that's not being capable. It's been difficult for everything. It's very, very difficult these days to hold a team meeting. Is the room big enough? Can you eat together? Can we do this together? It's certainly been changing. But yes, certainly when you do go through a situation like today, then that you're in, then you can try and do something different. And obviously with the problems that we've got at the minute in the world, then it's very difficult to do that.
Thanks. Alistair. I'm going to go to Mark Shute at Look North.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Mark.
You mentioned Arsenal and catching you on the break, and what they did show was just a huge amount of pace, which I think be fair to say you've been lacking somewhat with Alain Saint-Maximin on the sidelines. So he's been a terribly important miss, hasn't he?
Well, arguably a most creative player, the one who's player of the year, then you, of course, you're going to miss him. And we have missed him for the best part of a couple of months. When he was in and around the team, we looked a threat. We could play that little bit deeper and play teams on the counter-attack. If you are a mainly counter-attacking team, then you have to have pace on the turnover. And without Alan, we haven't got that blistering pace that he possesses. So we're delighted to see him back. He will certainly make us a little bit more entertaining. He will certainly help us win a few games. So it's good to see him in and around it again. Because
you're being sort of dragged into a relegation scrap, I suppose there's probably a temptation to bring him in as quickly as possible. But I suppose you've just got to kind of manage his energy levels, haven't you? Yeah, of course, to see how he is. We have monitored everything that we can this week to see where he is and his fitness. It's fair to say his fitness levels are very, very good, which is good news. So, of course, we've got to get the balance right in that one too, to say, I wouldn't expect him to be starting on Saturday, but he'd be in and among the squad and there if he's needed. And when you look at the Burnley result last night at Liverpool, it does rather show you that all the teams below you are showing signs of life. So rather than rely on them tripping up, it's really down to you to, at least in the next couple of games, to get something. It's your accumulation of points. Burnley had an awful start, if you remember. And now all of a sudden they've found a bit of form and they've got a great result last night against Liverpool. It's your accumulation of points of what you need. And we need to at least repeat. We'd like to have a few more. We got to 44 points last year and we're very, very comfortable. We have to, remember that we're only halfway there, not even halfway there, nearly there. And we had 19 points for a long, long time. So it's your accumulation of points over the season. Of course, teams at the bottom are going to win. But, if you're in the bottom half of the Premier League, you're always looking over your shoulder, So, a couple of wins, of course, always helps. So that's what we'll try and do. Do you think with the sort of takeover still mulling on in the background that it's all up the ante a little bit about Newcastle, that you mustn't be pulled into a relegation scrap? Well, whether it's takeover, look, we've been in the bottom half of the Premier League now for, apart from once, I think, in 15 years. So, that's where we are. We'd all love to be at the top end. We're not quite there yet. That's what we keep striving for. But, we all know that this group of players are capable. And when we've got them all fit and everybody's right, then, and people are, our best players are on the pitch, then we've always got a chance. And as a manager under fire, do you sometimes go into the physio's room and just groan when you hear that another central defender might be a doubt, or feel everything's going against you? When things are going against you, that's what ultimately happens, and you get it in certain position at this moment in time. We've made far too many changes, but then again, we've had big problems with illness, injury, the amount of games, and certainly when we're without arguably your best player in Saint-Maximin, then you do wonder and think, well, when's he coming back, So thankfully, he's in and around us again, and hopefully make the difference. Cheers, Steve. Thank you.